If I was to have one thing, it all starts with self-awareness. What am I talented at? How do I get this stuff done really effectively? And if I do more of that, am I going to be more effective? Be more curious about yourself, how you're behaving, and how and why others are behaving in a certain way. What's going on there?
On today's episode of the Habitz podcast, we've got Gary Webb from the Mindset Advantage, and he'll be sharing with us his good habits when it comes to management development. Thanks for joining us, Gary.
No problem.
So with the Mindset Advantage now, are you working with management to help them develop their management skills?
So I'm working, at the moment, I'm working with a couple of food manufacturing businesses, working with their management teams to develop their self-awareness and help them build strengths-based teams to increase performance.
So I guess then with your experience and then what you're doing now, you've seen a lot of things that companies can get wrong when it comes to management development.
I think that the traditional thinking around management development and personal development is one thing would be an annual appraisal. The issue with the annual appraisal is sometimes in its worst is that would be the only time that you'd sit down formally with your boss. That creates anxiety. It creates a huge amount of preparation and quite frankly, it just doesn't focus on the individual's needs through the performance year. It really only does focus on weaknesses and on what you're going to do to fix those weaknesses. So yeah, you're good at this, but let's have a look at this stuff over here. And the old thinking would be a well-rounded individual. Well, I believe there's no such thing as a well-rounded individual.
So what would be some of your good habits then that you would implement if I was an organisation and I wanted to improve my management development? Employers
really need to focus with their managers and get their managers to focus on their team's strengths, not their weaknesses. Everybody has talent. And that's natural talent. When you can start to identify what those talents are and you push into those areas, you can turn those talents into strengths. We have weaknesses, but unless it's actually stopping you doing what you need to get done, what you get paid for, or the performance of your business, there's not too much point in focusing there. If we push where we're already strong, we're going to get more bang for our buck, to use a term.
But the reality is there, if people have got strengths and weaknesses, surely it's the manager and the organisation's aim is to blend teams that have got complementary strengths and then make a better team rather.
And that's when you start looking at team dynamics. And then when you look at a team dynamic, what's in your team? What are the strengths? How do you best utilise those strengths? The second habit would be coach, not boss. Most people generally don't like being told what to do. To coach someone, it's not sort of woo, it's not hairy-fairy, it's regular updates. So it's over the annual appraisal. Of course, you need performance reviews, and you should do those probably at least twice a year, if not quarterly. It is about being really clear on where things are at, any support that we can give, and a good conversation around that person's development. It's trying to get that one-to-one time as well to make sure that individual is feeling like they're an individual within your business.
Yeah. What would be your killer habit or your number one habit that people listening should implement in their business to improve management performance?
If I was to have one thing, it all starts with self-awareness. As a manager or a leader of teams, the more self-aware I am of how I'm managing, how I like to be managed myself, the more likely I am to be effective within my performance and therefore affect the performance of my team. We all have weaknesses, but it's how we manage them.
Yeah, a shit sandwich is what they used to call it in my office.
The feedback sandwich or the shit sandwich, as most people know it as, yeah.